If you've ever tried getting into a trading card game, you know it can be incredibly daunting. From the large financial investment of the serious meta level players, down to the casual player only able to get a few packs at a time. Either way you look at it, it can still be incredibly challenging. So I'll be pushing my skills and a bit of luck to their absolute limit to make the best deck I can. The goal is that by the end of 1 year, I will be able to top one of the largest tournaments in the TCG. So I'm going to stop you right there. We actually did end up kind of already doing that 2.5 months in, and there it is, number 4, Battle Ready Inc. We topped a 200 plus event, so I think it's time to kind of reinvent the wheel a little bit here on this challenge, and because of that, we're going to take it to the next level. So blue is done. Blue Omnimon is no more, at least for as far as the future can tell. So it's time to shift gears. 1.5 is coming out. I think it's time to try red. We're going to see if we can top with every single color before we hit the end of this 1 year time stretch. We've done it with blue already. We're going to shift into red now and then see if we can progress even further. Using all the same rules that we had from the first time of no buying singles online and only 1 trade a week with a box opened here on the channel from one of our patrons. Using our $20 a week budget, we're going into phase 2 of Digimon on a budget. So now that we're starting over with a whole new color, we're switching it up, we're going to red, we need a base, right? Unfortunately, there aren't any red starter decks available to buy anywhere unless you're willing to pay $50, which whenever I pay $10 for mine feels like an outrage. So I actually had a friend gracious enough to loan me his red. He only bought 2 starter decks, and this is everything that he got. He didn't buy any other packs. All he had was 2 starter decks, and he was gracious enough to lend it to the channel until I can replace it with starter decks that come out in the future. So super awesome. So our budget for this week will be completely 2 red starter decks. This is everything that he got. All he pulled out of his packs was just a Seraphimon, and then 2 of the rare Angemons, and then just a bunch of commons and uncommons. So nothing too crazy. This is just the base for the deck. As you can see, out of 2 starter decks, this is all the cards that we're going to use. So not a whole lot, but some super incredibly important pieces for sure. Stuff like Phoenixmon, that sort of thing. If we're playing red, we got to be playing Omnimon. So picking up where we left off with the blue series, continuing forward with the red series, we're going to mitigate the rest of the deck with some of the stuff that we've pulled so far in the series, but mainly the switch to red is in preparation for 1.5, right? What's so great about red in 1.5? Alter S comes out. So not only do we have Ragnar Lordmon for red that we could look at, but we also have Alter S, and I think the Omnimon regular and Alter S combination is a little bit better for red than running the Ragnar Lordmon. So that's what we're going to do, is we're going to go with the Alter S route, and hopefully we can pick up some, fingers crossed on that. And yeah, let's assemble this deck and take a look at it. Alright, so we got the deck assembled and ready to go. You might be asking what these 2 cards down here are for. Well, first, the Groundramon is going to be our regular trade for the week. And funny enough, out of all the packs we've opened so far, we've only managed to pull 3 Groundramon, so we needed to get a 4th one, and that's great. But honestly, after that, the deck is in a pretty good position, minus just a very, very small couple cards, mainly just being Omnimon, getting a 4th copy of that. But going into the Alter S deck here in the future shortly, 3 regular three regular Omnimon is more than enough. So I'm feeling pretty good where the deck is currently. Of course, we'll change it up once 1.5 gets here, but I think as is, it's in a great position. So since we went technically 7 games undefeated with the PPG event as well as the locals the week before, We did manage to snag up that 6 undefeated challenge of going 6 games undefeated. So we got a bonus trade, and I just wanted to go ahead and pick up an extra staple. We've yet to pull a single Metal Seedramon. I probably would have preferred this over the Saber Leomon in the blue deck, but hey, it worked out anyways, even without the Metal Seedramon. But I still would rather go ahead and pick up one of these just to have on hand, just in case we ever need to play it. And I think with our trades moving ahead, we'll just start picking up some more interesting stuff until we get to the point where either A, we can trade for one of the Omnimons that got opened on the channel, or B, just waiting until 1.5 comes out, and then we can start trading for more cards for the red deck. So let's go ahead and go through the play-by-play of the red deck and see what we're running. Alright, starting out, we're of course running the 4 Coromon. Just when this Digimon has 4 or more Digivolution cards, it gets plus 1000 DP. Mainly, this really is super important for our Megas. So those level 6s, they'll have, you know, a 2, 3, 4, and 5 underneath them. So that'll trigger the Coromon. And mainly, that's super important because you need at least 1k DP on stuff like Phoenixmon. So those 12s turn into 13s. At that point, you can run over pretty much anything that's in security minus another Omnimon, or perhaps a Millenniumon. If you run into that, the chances of Millenniumon I think are significantly lower, just because Omnimon's so much more popular right now. So just being able to run over things like a Plessimon against blue, or other Phoenixmon if you're going against a red deck. So Coromon, definitely great for that. The last one here is the Yokomon. Just because I really like running 5 eggs. It comes and goes on my my feel for it, but a Yokomon isn't bad. When you attack an opponent's Digimon, this Digimon gets 1000 DP for the turn. So that's pretty cool. Just if we're trying to clear the opponent's board, it works really well. If you've seen my deck profile where we do the Gallantmon control, we're actually running 4 Yokomon in that because it's all about attacking your opponent's Digimon rather than attacking the security straight, which is when Coromon comes in. Now, once 1.5 gets here, of course, we'll be swapping these around, and we'll getting those the Gigimon as the baby form, because I think he'll be a lot better for the deck. Just getting that natural 1000 DP, pretty much turn 2 or 3 onwards, he pretty much is always live. So I think that'll be way more important, because if you think about it, turn 1 you hatch, turn 2 you raise. So you're not even gonna, get another one on board, a second egg on board until turn 4, and at that point you should be live on the Gigimons for getting their effects off. So, and you're gonna get that way faster than you'll probably get up to a 6, depending on how you level up, of course. All right, starting out with the rookies here. Of course, we're gonna play the Agumon here, plus 1000 DP inheritable. I mean, what a phenomenal rookie. I mean, pretty much every color wants an Agumon, and so far, almost every color has an Agumon that gives that 1000 DP buff. Blue's still waiting on, I think they're the Ice Agumon, and I'm sure he'll do the same thing once they get around to it. But just a great card, great rookie, awesome inheritable. Him alone allows you to punch over so much stuff in this game. Just one single 1000 buff is just so great. So we liked it so much that we popped in 4 of the Gilmon for the same reasons as the Gigimon egg that I mentioned before, as well as the Agumon just getting that plus 1000. We are running 4 of it currently. We'll just have to play around with it, see how we like it. Mainly because some people only run 2 of it, because like I said, he's not good turn 1. Turn 1 or 2, turn 2 iffy. Turn 3, he starts to become more and more viable. Getting those 5 cards in your opponent's trash before you get that buff. So if you open him in your opening hand, there's a good chance he's not going to be any use to you other than just a 0 cost evolution. So that's why some people only run 2 of him, just because he's only good in kind of the later stages of the game, the mid to late game. But I think he's worthy to run it 4 of, at least for now, until if we need to cut him later. Next up, we're running 6 of the 2 cost drops, 0 cost evolutions, the Biomon and the Monodramon. This is an Omnimon Turbo deck, so we're looking to be as memory efficient as possible through most of the deck, and these are going to be how we're going to get there for those the on play 2-cost drops is just, you know, solid. I'd rather, you know, you'd rather play these than the other guys. Next up, we got our 4 of blockers here. So with red doesn't go wide like blue does. Red just ramps up into one big Omnimon that's super beefy, lots of attack, lots of security attack bonuses, and they just like to push for game with a single Digimon. Whereas blue, they're really good about going wide with their fields, so even if you lose an Omnimon, you still have other things that you can do to still win you the game. So being able to block, I think, is going to be super important. Just having it setting off to the side while your big guy does his work is going to be super important, because we're not going to have other ways to really defend ourselves or help ourselves. But speaking of building up that big tower with the bonus security attack, we've got our Greymons here. These are the security attack +1 Greymon. Again, we're not going for a wide field, so when we do power up into something, we need it to be really good and very efficient at whatever it is it's doing. So getting that bonus security attack is going to be pretty crucial. And what's nice about this is it can apply to all of our level 5s, our level 6s, and our level 7s. So we should be able to get lots of use out of this, lots of value going into this card for sure. Every color, I'm sure, wishes they had this inheritable. Most definitely, whenever I was playing blue, I wish for it all the time. Just because you don't really rely on your 4s to do anything except for your blockers. And half the time, the inheritables you get off your level 4s are pretty insignificant. At least when I played blue, there wasn't any inheritables that I ever got. So I wish for it all the time, and especially when you don't really get your value off your Garurumons. And Greymon is just such a better card, I think, than the Garurumon is. That on play, if you don't get that perfect combo off, it's just completely dead and useless. So going next, we're going with the whole memory efficient. Like I said, this is Omnimon Turbo, and we're all about being as efficient as possible. So we've got the Dark Tyrannomon, just that 1-cost evolution. Great for going turn 1. You're going to hatch your egg. You're going to Digivolve for free into your rookie, and then being able to drop this as an evolution and passing turn to your opponent with 1 is so much better than playing a 2-cost evolution like Greymon, simply because when they only have 1 memory, they have to only evolve into essentially 1-costed Digimon or bust, or they'll have to pass turn. So they'll go same combo you did, where they go into the rookie, and if they don't also have a 1-cost evolution and they have to play something like a Garurumon or a Greymon or a blocker, most of the cards in their deck, I mean, it's, you know, 2/3 of their deck is going to be a 2-cost evolution champion. So this guy is great for that, just because it forces it back to your turn because of that. So instead of getting, you know, 3 evolutions and 3 draws, they're only going to get 2, and I think that's going to be super important, just in general strategy across the board. Next up, again, memory efficiency. We've got the 4 Groundramon, the one we just traded for. 2-cost evolution. Level 5s, I always look at level 5s as these are essentially, they're just stepping stones to get into your Megas or get into your Omnimons. They don't typically stay on the board that often unless you're running a Metal Tyrannomon, which we're running 2 of those, only 2. And so this has the 10k on it, and this is only 6k. So this is purely just a step up into a level 6. You play this, Digivolve into this if you know full well that you're going into a level 6 after this. Also, a 5-cost drop is nothing, especially for a level 5. I mean, this is literally 100% the equivalent of Monzaemon. Playing a Monzaemon for 5 never really feels that bad, because you can go into a level 6 and level 7 so quickly. It's actually almost more memory efficient to go straight into a Groundramon than it is to spend all that time going into, you know, Digivolving a level 3, and then Digivolving into a level 4, and then Digivolving into a 5. Depending on the level 5 you Digivolve into, it's literally the same cost. That 5, a 2 cost 4, and a 3 cost 5 is the equivalent of that. And this just gets you straight into it. So that's what's nice about these. So going into the Metal Tyrannomon next, though, what makes us play this card? I also want to show what our other level 5 is, just to help kind of explain why we're doing it like we are. I'm trying out the Skull Greymons here. I know some people, they might run only one of this and 3 of these, or even none of this potentially. The way I look at it is, if you look at their cost, they're both 3 cost evolutions, 7 cost to play it. You know, it's 2 more than the Groundramon is, so it's really hard to convince to play this if you're just planning to step up into a level 6 on top of it. You play this if you don't have a level 6 or a level 7 that you plan on going into. If this is all you got and this is what you're sticking with and this is going to have to win you the game, then this is what you're going to play with. If your level 5s is it, then you play this guy. If you've got a just hard drop, a 7 or a level 5 for a 7 cost, Skull Greymon's great because you get to delete a blocker with it. And there's almost always going to be a blocker in play. If you just plan on stepping up over and you've got to choose between these guys, but you know you're going to go into a 6 immediately after this, then go with the Skull Greymon, because it's the same evolution cost and you're just going to go right over it anyway. Save this guy for when your Omnimon gets, you know, Gaia Forced or gets counter Omnimon, whatever. Save this guy for when that happens, because then you're going to have to rely on him to win you the game. So how does he win you the game, right? So at 10k DP, that's a pretty good solid, you know, that's the best we have so far for a level 5. And with red, it's so easy to actually make him really, really beefy and strong. Between once we get the Gigimon, that'll be good, as well as the Yokomon, because then we get that, you know, 11k when we attack into something, or if we just get the 11k for the 5 trash, whatever it is. The Agumon is going to give us 1000 DP, and then the security attack bonus potentially from the Greymon, that's great. So then we've got, you know, a decent swinging beat stick here. We can get into that 12k DP. So when we swing into security, we're swinging over most things. Now, you're not going to be swinging over, like I said, the other 12k stuff, but the only time I've never wanted to swing into security with a 12k level 6 is when I have a Omnimon in hand and I need to play that Omnimon. If I need to play that Omnimon to clear something off the field that's super important, I won't even swing with the 12k, because it's too risky to risk losing it, depending on the color that you're playing against. So sometimes I just have to play that Omnimon right over that 12 and never even get to attack with it. If this is all I have no plans of going into a 6 or a 7. At 12k, that's not bad. I'll swing with this with 12k for sure. Even if I have to chance losing it, it's still a better loss than losing a 12 DP level 6 that you desperately need for an Omnimon. So that's the thoughts of only running two of this and 2 of this, just because if you have to hard play one of these 2, you're really going to want to hard play that Skull Greymon just for that effect more often than not. And if you're just using them to digivolve into something else, then neither of them are going to matter too much for that. He's good for winning you games. He's good for either being a stepping stone or clearing something out if you need to hard play it. Next up are those level 12s I was talking about. This is the Phoenixmon, 2 cost evolution level 6, just very memory efficient, very good for getting into Omnimon for a cheap amount. 10 cost play is something you probably never want to do, but sometimes it's the only play you have, and you're probably going to lose anyway if you're having to hard play this. It's just kind of how it is. You're really backed into a corner. But 12k DP, like I was saying, is in like blue is kind of iffy, because you don't want to swing into security with a 12k because there's too many other 12ks in the game that can kill you. But with red's nice because we have the Agumon, we have, at this point, the Koromon becomes live if you have Koromon underneath him. So there's multiple ways to get 13k DP, and once you're at 13k DP, swinging into security with these guys is nothing. Unlike blue, where blue doesn't want to swing into security with a 12k DP if they need to play an Omnimon. If I'm playing these with Omnimon red, yeah, I'll swing into security no problem, and then drop my Omnimon on top of this, because there's almost nothing, unless I'm playing against maybe red, that I have to deal with a Gaia Force or something crazy like that. Then that's the only time that this might become a problem, or in the future against a mirror match of Omnimon red, like the Alter S, because then that's potentially 5 different Omnimons that we can
copies of Omnimon that we can run into, as well as 4 Gaia Force. Then we start getting to the territory of too many things that can kill him, and so then it might become an issue. But right now, no problem. All right, so next up for our level 6s, we've got the War Greymon from the set 1. So this is the one when digivolving for that turn, you get the security attack +1. It's pretty good. 3-cost evolution isn't bad. I like the other one from the starter deck, but it's a 4-cost evolution, and just so often you're not even going to get an attack the turn you play that card. So that really sucks. At least at a 3-cost evolution, you can have the opportunity to attack with this. It comes up more often where you're going to have 3 memory to work with than 4. Just in all my time playing this game so far, being sent over with 3 memory to work with happens so often compared to having 4 or more. So we'll actually get to trigger this one way more often. Also, just whenever it attacks into security, not even the turn it's played, but anytime, we don't trigger option cards. So that's great, especially moving ahead, like I was talking about, into 1.5, when more red Omnimon decks are going to be popular, being able to shut down the Gaia Force that can be in security. And if you've ever played against a red, 9 times out of 10, I swear, 9 times out of 10, there's a Gaia Force somewhere in that security. Count on it. So being able to just turn that off, swinging with this guy, is so nice. Also, the 11k DP is unfortunately a little more sketchy. You really need to have multiple 1000 plus DP underneath him, get him up to 13k DP, and then swinging into security with that isn't so bad. So like I said, you got to get the Agumon and either the Koromon or the Gigimon, depending on the stage we're at, to go into this guy, and then swinging into security with that security attack +1 or +2 if you have the Greymon really starts to liven this guy up. Checking 3 security in one turn there, and not having to trigger any kind of option cards. So if you're going against Blue Omni, then you don't have to worry about those dang Hammer Sparks always sending it back to your opponent's turn. This shuts those Hammer Sparks off, shuts the Cocytus Breath off, it shuts Trump Sword off, or I forget what the green card is. I don't think it's Dimension Scissors. It's the one that destroys suspended Digimon. It shuts that off. Great. No Gaia Force. Great card for dealing with that. Next up, I am running 4 level 6s in total here. I know that a lot of people in 1.5, they're running 4 of the Volcanic Dramon and none of the War Greymon. For right now, we're going to stick with 2 and 2. I'm feeling really good about it. Rookie Rush really hasn't been a problem. We've noticed in the English release, like it was in the Japanese release. So not so bad about the Volcanic Dramon being only at 2 here. Just that on play, dealing with all 4K and below. It's pretty solid for those on plays. Gets rid of not only Rookie Rush, but it also gets rid of Devimon, which again, we go up into one big Digimon on this with red, so we need to be able to handle anything with vengeance, and so this is a good way to get rid of those vengeance guys, the Devimons. So that's he's not bad as a 2 of just for that. That alone, if nothing else, especially if they hard play the Piedmon and they get out 2 Devimon, going into this guy to handle both of those, it is pretty good. It feels pretty good. Also on top of that, which makes running this guy in red so much nicer than running him in blue like I did, because you can go into Omnimon with this guy, which is great. But say you have a whole bunch of memory to work with, you don't need the on-play effect, but you need to go into an Omnimon. You can Digivolve this guy for only 3 cost, which is the same as the War Greymon. If your only goal is just to step up into a Omnimon, then using him to do that is so nice in red, as opposed to having to play this guy in blue to deal with the same issues for the on-play effect. But sometimes he'd be in my hand in blue, and I would have no reason to ever play him. But I wish I had a level 6 to go into my Omnimon, and he was filling that slot, and that always kind of bugged me. So being able to just Digivolve him in red is so nice. Also, security attack +1 if you need it. If you can maybe punch for game with multiple security attacks going off. So that's 2 plus maybe a Greymon for 3 security attacks. It only 10k DP, so you can't quite get him all the way up to 13k DP with the current decks that we have, but still pretty awesome. Next up, of course, we've got the Omnimon. We still only have the 3. We haven't pulled a 4th, but like I was saying, even if we don't pull a 4th, it's okay because we're looking for their Alter S anyways here shortly once 1.5 comes out, which by the time this airs probably won't be too far off, less than a month for sure. So just a few weeks, and then we can start working towards that Alter S, and that's going to be super important. You'll see a lot of like 2 regular Omnimon and then 3 Alter S's is a pretty good combination I've seen. It just depends on what your meta is. If your meta is a lot of stuff that goes really wide, then the Alter S works really well for that. But if you see other things that just go into one big tower, then the regular Omnimon's better for handling that. Next up is going to be our 4 Gaia Force. I mean, pretty self-explanatory. This is the best removal card in the game, I would say. Even better than, putting it to the bottom of the deck, because those cards that put it to the bottom of the deck, they have stipulations. So either it has to be suspended or unsuspended, like Trump Sword or the green card. This guy just destroys it, doesn't matter what it is. Kind of like Kikaida's Breath, where Kikaida's Breath doesn't matter if it's suspended or unsuspended. But the problem with that is it just returns it to hand. So if you play this on play Kikaida's Breath on an Omnimon or a Millenniumon, they get those effects off again when they digivolve back into them, and that's so frustrating. So being able to just destroy it, call it a day. I love this card so much. It's so good, so good. And 1 cost more than Kikaida's Breath, which, yeah, getting to just use that effect again feels so bad. So just being able to flat destroy it for 1 extra memory, heck yes, I am all about that. All right, so our last card, this is kind of a flex spot, mainly because we are in the 1.0 and we've only got the 3 Omnimon. If we had the 4 Omnimon, we wouldn't have this card. But since we don't, we're going to play the 1 Puppetmon. This card has been phenomenal for me in blue, so I expect it to do me just as much good in the red. We don't have as much draw power in this deck compared to the blue, so I don't know how often we'll be able to draw into the Puppetmon regularly every game. So it is a 1 of. It might be kind of iffy on if we actually get to draw into it. There's not really any options to cut. I mean that literally and figuratively. There's nothing in this red deck that we can really cut to warrant running a second Puppetmon, I don't think. Cutting down our numbers anymore. We're already at 14 rookies. We are at 12 champions, so we could maybe cut down a champion down to 11. 11 champions has worked really well for us in blue, so maybe we could do that. I just don't know which champion we'd want to cut down is the problem to go into this guy. Also, so moving ahead into 1.5. So not only are we looking for that the Alter S Omnimon, but we're looking for some new level 5s as well. So we've got the Groundramon, and then they've got the baby form of or not the baby form, but the ultimate form of Volcanic Dramon, which is essentially just another Groundramon, except for I think his play cost is 7. But again, a 2-cost evolution in an Omnimon Turbo deck. Our whole purpose is to go into Omnimon. Then stepping over these guys will be pretty easy. We can easily drop the 2 Skull Greymon to go into that. And then lastly, we might drop the Metal Tyrannomon, or we might keep the Metal Tyrannomon. We'll just have to see how this performs versus having 8 of the 2-cost evolutions to get us up there. And then after that, we'll be looking at dropping the War Greymons and going into the Blitz Greymon. So that's the de-digivolving on Digivolution, which is great if you play that and you take out something big like a Millenniumon or some other level 7, you de-digivolve that, and then you go into the Alter S after that, and which de-digivolves it again and then wipes the field of everything. It's just a really good combo for clearing out big threats, which kind of mitigates the whole reason of running 3 of this one, is because if you can play that combination with the Blitz Greymon, then you don't need to worry about needing him to take out big threats, because that combo takes out big threats on its own, just through the de-digivolving mechanic itself. Alright, so that was kind of a long spiel, so we'll quickly go into our first set of locals, and we'll see how that fares for us and see how the deck performs as is pre 1.5.
Alright, so game 1 here, we're in that mirror match against Red Omnimon here. So just kind of going up into a steady play here. Got that Groundramon out, just trying to memory choke as much as possible. They end up digivolving into a Metal Greymon, the virus type. Very interesting. But they do give us enough memory to go ahead and go into our Phoenixmon and actually swing with it, which is very nice. So we pass it back over to them, just evolving a Greymon, setting up for future plays for us. Does, in fact, unfortunately give them enough memory to go into a Phoenixmon of their own and swing with it if they chose. But nope, they just went ahead and popped that Omnimon. I think I would have just swung with the Phoenixmon over mine and took care of it, but you know, whatever. The safe play is definitely the Omnimon, but without getting that swing kind of feels lackluster. Here, though, we come back and go into War Greymon here. Got that nice security attack plus bonus. Believe it's 3. Yeah, check all their security in one go and drop the Omnimon after the fact. Oof. Yeah, we quickly take game 1 there. Game 2, hard playing the Groundramon feels pretty bad. But of all the things you had to hard play, that is probably definitely the best one. You're 1 off from a 6, so that's pretty nice. But does let us have enough memory to go into a Phoenixmon of our own. Here they pass it over to us, digivolving into a Volcanic Dramon, which is an interesting one. You know, times come when playing red, that happens. Love this. Swing into security and crashing over a 12. We do run into an Omnimon shortly after with that security attack bonus. But red's so nice about that, just being able to do that. Here, Omnimoning a Dark Tyrannomon feels a little greedy. I don't know. I don't think I would have done anything crazy like that. Just not worth it. I would just rather swing. And then quickly met with the Gaia Force. So definitely did not come back for them. Just memory cost did not add up for them. Here they go into another Metal Greymon with the Phoenixmon on top. So got that plus 3,000 DP on their turn. They do swing with it. Don't hit into much. A third, or I don't know if that's a second Metal Greymon there. Pretty ridiculous. Here's, again, swinging into that 12K. We've got the buffs because we're running red now. Red Omnimon, able to swing over those 12Ks. Feels so good. Here they, and of course, in turn, got the buffs that they can run over our 12Ks in security and then meet us with a Gaia Force. A lot of the similar plays back and forth. Here we're just swinging with a rookie. Not a whole lot that we can do. Hard play another rookie. Yeah, it's that looking that rough for us. Getting kind of thrown in on the ropes here. Just playing that, de-evolve into that blocker. Here they swing with the Volcanic. Put us down to 0. Can't quite take the game just yet, though. So that'll at least give us one more turn. But they are able to play that blocker, which will prevent us from immediately winning. Knowing that they got 3 attacks coming in next turn, I need to take care of that. So we swing with the Metal Tyrannomon to take out their 10K there, because we're playing that red. We got those buffs on that DP, so we were able to swing over so much with red. I love playing red so much more than blue, honestly. Playing blue just feels so scary. Here, hard dropping the Skull Greymon. Oh my god, I'm so glad I played that. Just worked out so well. Here they go into another blocker on us, though. We're going to swing, see if they want to block it or not, their call. They need at least 2 attacks next turn to win. But they decide to let it go. They do have a lot of attacks coming in, though. So we'll go ahead and swing here. Anything but a Gaia Force. Actually, no, we still need more than a Gaia Force, because they can still block. Oh, but it is a Gaia Force anyway, so they go ahead and take out our blocker, which means we have nothing to stop them from attacking next turn. But oh my god, it's another Skull Greymon to take out another blocker, and we quickly take game 2 right after that. Such craziness. Those the big brain plays there of attacking with that Metal Tyrannomon and then dropping the Skull Greymons, and it was just nuts. Here playing Green Control. Green Control can get pretty frustrating if you can't take care of it quick enough. I probably should have played a little more control going into it, just preventing them from ramping up into anything. Here they go into that Lilymon. and then into the Titamon. Now it gets a little more tricky to deal with, and it gets a lot more frustrating once they get their 12s out. If you can get an Omnimon on board, then you'll be all right. Here, Flower Cannon, dang it, lose both of our other attacks. That's definitely always frustrating. Flower Cannon and security on the first swing. But I do go ahead and drop the Gaia Force, try to just maintain control of the field. Had to Digivolve up a lot to get into it, so they gave them a whole lot of memory to work with. Here they get into that Rosemon, and with those Inheritables, has enough DP to swing over our Phoenix, and now is when it gets rough. Now that I don't have that, yeah, so they've got all that control. I don't have the Omnimon on board, and now Green can start carrying it away. Even with, the trying to control them, they're able to ramp up with all that memory I gave them with the Puppetmon. So, didn't quite come into my favor. Trying to swing where I can. Crashing into the Goblimon with our Guilmon. Hard playing a Guilmon past turn. They have so much on field. We're all suspended, so they can easily run over everything we have, which is really, really bad. That made me putting in work for them, just getting all that egg and raising power. Here they are, just swinging over all the big stuff that we have. And getting that Rosemon, or not the Rosemon, but that Inheritable from Lilymon to suspend, and then cleaned up our whole field. We're just up against the ropes. They have three 12s on field now. They Digivolve into the Titamon. Yeah, that's a lot to come back with. And there's a blocker just cause, I guess, at this point. Not really, yeah, not much I can do. So they take game 1. So we go into game 2 here. Not the best of hands when you got a hard play a Guilmon. 2 blockers on field, though. I feel like I at least could have some kind of control. Not having any kind of luck in my security, though. That Titamon got that free swing there. So we just drop the Gaia Force. And if I can control the 12s or the level 6s, then we can burn through their resources. But here they go into a Rosemon immediately after with that memory. So plan's not quite working. If we can keep them off the level 6s, Green is so easy to deal with. But we're just, look at this, we're not getting into anything. Having to drop another Gaia Force. We're just not getting into any level 5s, it seems. We've got 2 blockers on field. Here they Digivolve into a Puppetmon now. Another level 6 on field. They have all the level 6s. They do run into a Phoenixmon, which is nice. That's one way to deal with them. Here we go, finally getting into a Metal Tyrannomon. Unfortunately, we only have the 1 security left, so we're in a really, really tight spot. Do you let this go through, or do you block it, If it's something we can use in security, it could take him out, but it's just a Greymon. And now they're about to really start getting control here. 1 memory is not enough to do much with. You can go into level 6, but you have to pass your turn. So you really want to get that attack off, clear that Lilymon at least, and then pass turn going into the Volcanic. Setting up for next turn to really kind of get some good plays, hopefully. But they got the 2-1 Flower Cannon, and we're toast here. Go ahead and block that. But then hard playing a Goblimon, that tells me that they don't have the Flower Cannon. So I drop the... Before even attacking, I go ahead and drop the Omnimon to clear out both those Goblimons. And then I've got my blocker to deal with the Tentomon. But there it is. There's the Flower Cannon finally, and then they end up taking game 2. Oh, so frustrating. I was just feeling it. I was just about to really get back into that game, and then there comes that Flower Cannon. So game 3 here, playing against a blue player. I don't think it's even blue Omnimon. This is an interesting deck. There's a lot of crazy tech choices. I saw that blocker there, so I went into the Metal Tyrannomon. I needed something big enough to swing past it because I didn't have any. I knew I didn't have any level 6s to work with at the time, but now we do have the Volcanic. But that forces us to pass turn, but does set us up for a pretty good play next turn. Here they drop the Leopardmon, which is pretty neat. When you Digivolve into it, you get to play one of its Digivolution sources, which is really nice. So unlike the Metal Garurumon where you have to attack first, this one you just get to immediately do it, which is nice. But it is 4 memory to Digivolve. They do choose to block, and then we go ahead and drop the Omnimon to clear out that Leopard. Does give them a little bit of memory here, but they're forced to kind of go on the defensive. We kind of took out one of their big beaters. So Omnimon's just going to kind of start putting in some work as much as possible. Just start swinging. It's really kind of hard to deal with an Omnimon as a blue player without another Omnimon. Most of them don't play things like Kikaitis Breath. I did in mine, but that's also because I didn't necessarily have 4 Omnimons. I was playing with 3 Omnimons, so I had to make up for it. Alright, so here they're just trying to get into something here. Going real slow. I'm memory choking them out. So I can just kind of let Omnimon just slowly chip away at them every single turn. And then here we just go into the Greymon to set us up for a future turn. If they go into yet another blocker, they're doing really well on those blockers, that's for sure. But Omnimon just slowly chipping away, just doing his job, just going up. I'm setting up for future plays here. Double Hammer Spark, that gets pretty terrifying. But that Metal Garurumon, that 4 cost, that forces them to pass turn here. Back over to us. They can't get that attack off with it. Here they're choosing if they want to block or not, which they do go for that block. I've got a lot to attack with, though. They've got 2.5 more attacks coming in. I don't think they're going to have anything to stop it, except for maybe a Hammer Spark could have. Game 2 here. Nothing new, nothing too exciting of plays. I did have to force the Biomon drop to pass turn. They swing with the Garurumon. That tells me they don't have hardly anything to work with. Pass turn with a Digivolve into Were-Garurumon. But I also don't have much to do, so I have to swing with my Biomon and then just pass turn with Monodramon. Here, swinging with the Were-Garurumon and not trying to get the security bonus. I don't know. I would never, especially against red. Yeah, they end up losing it. I would never swing into red security and expect to keep whatever it is I'm attacking with. There's just too much big stuff that red has. Then they hard play that Zudomon, which gets them back into the game. Then double Hammer Spark again. This time getting the play off. They had enough memory to actually attack multiple times. Here clearing that Monodramon so that way they know they can't lose next turn. For that first attack, getting that memory back with Zudomon feels pretty good. And then they attack again, gaining another memory. Nothing in security that's going to stop that guy. So that's pretty good. And then here they go into the just the blocker and then pass turn with Elecmon. At this point, I'm not really sure what to do, so I'm just kind of swinging, going to see what I can reveal. You know, if this goes through, it goes through. If he blocks it, even better, because then that gives my rookies free reign. He does not block it, though. I do lose it to a Leopardmon in security. Hard play Agumon. Set us up for next turn. Next turn we'll definitely get that, take it. So here's to hoping. Here goes in, starts attacking with the Garurumon, getting that free memory off that Zudomon inheritable. What an awesome inheritable. Just absolutely wonderful. Do reveal the Gaia Force. I do have to play it here on. It's the only thing that can save me. I play it on the blocker, which sets me up for winning next turn for sure. I have to block the Elecmon so I don't lose. And at that, I'm feeling pretty good. They do have a lot of memory to work with. But then here comes another Hammer Spark. So many Hammer Spark. Hammer Spark is glued to this person's hand. It allows them to hard play the Garurumon to unsuspend the Metal Garurumon, and they take game 2. That was a pretty good play, I must say. Lots of memory gain back for them. So game 3 here, Digivolve up into the Skull Greymon, even though there was some good targets for it. And then hard playing a blocker of my own. Neither player is really doing much here. They do have both mats on field, which is really good because that allows them to really start ramping up into memory every turn. Here, double Hammer Spark to return the Groundramon to hand with the Kikaitis, putting me at 1. I don't know if that was necessarily a good play. I like having Hammer Spark in hand to play to keep it on my turn. And you'll definitely see that come into play here in a bit. Here they Kikaitis again and return the Phoenixmon to hand. That makes sense. But gave us so much memory, we just went right back into it, so not a big deal. And it's still our turn, so now we can actually swing with our level 12. They do decide to go ahead and block it, though. And then we just Digivolve into another blocker of our own to kind of just keep control of the situation. I could trade right here, but I decided to let it go through. I was hoping there would be something in my security that would take it down. Usually there is. Hard plays a Digimon, which was a surprise. But then we go into that Omnimon, take out both blockers. Unfortunately, there was a Gomamon underneath that I did not see. Passes it to their turn, triggers both mats, goes up to 4. So that was like a 10 Digivolve Omnimon, basically, is what that kind of came out to be. Here they play the tie to pass turn, which is pretty crazy. Interesting like tech choice to put in there. I do put odd tech choices in mine, like Saber Leomon, but I don't know, that was even more strange. Here we're going to the Omnimon, finally get that. The double security checks. Check 4 security in 1 turn. That definitely puts them bad. No blockers, so we're just swinging now. I don't think there's anything that's going to save them. Yeah, only thing would have been a Hammer Spark that could have saved them. I think they just kind of overplayed those Hammer Sparks, especially on that first Kakaitis Breath, and put us at 1, and it was just to return a Groundramon to hand. Yeah, definitely got to save those Hammer Sparks for plays like they did with the Metal Garurumon, right? That's how you want to play Hammer Spark, is to do it so that way you're not going to pass your turn. You can play your big level 6s and then still attack with them. That's the best use for Hammer Spark that I've seen. Sometimes, sure, you do have to memory choke your opponent, but I don't think that was one of the situations. It didn't make any sense to me, and clearly kind of cost them the game. So, all right, so no win streak this week. We did lose that middle match. So next week, if we win the first 2, we'll at least get a bonus pack. Again, as soon as product is available, I can get my hands on it. I believe at the time of recording this, and it should be uploaded this week on February the 9th. We should have packs on Friday, so fingers crossed when that time finally hits. But unfortunately, I'm not getting any likes. Come on, guys, like these videos so that way we can get a bigger balance. Every like is a penny, and I know that's a lot to ask for, but come on, guys, just like the video, and we can get some more bonus packs with those bonus bucks. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like and comment, as well as subscribe if you haven't already. If you enjoy this type of content, I try to put it out as much as possible, so definitely subscribe. Also, if you really enjoyed the content, check out my Patreon. I have a link in the description below for it. You can get access to my Discord server, as well as if you're a Dragon Village M fan, account takeovers where I help you out with your account. If you're a Digimon fan, I've got monthly giveaway, well, not even giveaways, I've got monthly merch that's specific to Patreon. Stuff like memory counters, custom made. This is the baby form of Vmon here. There's going to be more in the works also. So lots of memory counters, all kinds of awesome Digimon merch. So definitely check out that tier. And if you're just all out crazy, there's other tiers if you're that dedicated. As well as check out my Teespring. I've got awesome merch there. You know, official Battle Ready Ink merch. Awesome phone cases for you Digimon fans out there. They've got them for iPhones as well as Samsungs. So they are super sweet. If you've seen the last Digimon movie, that's where these are from. I had a friend of mine custom make these so that way they fit perfectly on these phone cases. They look super good. So definitely check those out. But at the end of the day, if you can't do any of that, just like I said, like the video. That helps a ton. And subscribe. It doesn't hurt, but it helps me. So that's what's the real benefit. And as always, I'll see you next time.